We have a special guest joining us this morning. He spent many years covering the Catholic Church, including Pope Francis's visit to Philadelphia in 2015.
That's right. Former CBS Philadelphia anchor Pat Ciarrocchi, our good friend, joining us live here in the studio this morning on a very somber day, Pat.
Yeah, it is a somber day, but the way that I feel about it is that it actually is celebratory. I mean, when did this happen? This happened right at the edge of Easter. So the day of the Lord's resurrection. And the fact that the Holy Father was called home that day seems to me to be really significant. He was a man of the people. They're calling him the Pope of the people, the people's Pope. And that's the way that he lived every day of his papacy, serving the people. You know, one of the things that I remember so clearly is when he became Pope, when he came out on the balcony, the same balcony that he was on yesterday in his wheelchair, trying to come forth with the words Happy Easter because of his lung condition and not being able to get those words out clearly. When he went out on the balcony that first time, he opened his arms and he asked the people who were in St. Peter's Square to pray for me. I never heard anything like that. You know, John Paul II came out on the balcony and his words were, "Be not afraid." But Pope Francis asked the people to pray for him and to bless him. And at every moment when the Holy Father would meet with people, the last things he would ask of them was to pray for me. It wasn't pray for my papacy, it wasn't pray for the changes I need to make, it wasn't to pray for everybody else, but to pray for me in doing the job that I was called to do. You know, one of the things that's really remarkable is his sense of compassion. There is a priest in a parish in Gaza, and the Holy Father would call that priest every night to pray with him. Ever since the issues in the Middle East with what had happened in Gaza, but he was supporting him, supporting the Catholics who were there.
Well, when he assumed the papacy, he was a big surprise. I mean, people were like, what is this? This is not your traditional Pope. And we knew that going into this.
We did. Yeah, I mean, from Argentina.
Yeah.
And he wanted to do things differently. He didn't live in the Apostolic Palace. He lived in Santa Marta, which is the guest house that, in fact, it's going to be very interesting to see how this works. All the cardinals from around the world will come in to be together, to deliberate in a conclave, but they will all stay at Santa Marta. That was built, and I can't remember which pope built it, but there was a pope who built that because it was very difficult when cardinals from around the world would come in to vote for a new pope. There was no place for them to stay.
Yeah, and we know that Archbishop Nelson Perez, we understand
we just have him now on the phone.
Wonderful.
Archbishop, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Good morning. Thank you so very much for joining us. So when did you learn of the pontiff's passing, sir?
Early this morning, one of my staff at the Archdiocese sent me a text at 5 in the morning, and I was certainly shocked.
Yeah.
And Archbishop,
sad.
Yeah, we can only imagine your sadness in hearing of this, and also other Catholics that are mourning around the world. Tell us a little bit about, we understand, your personal connection with this Pope and what you'll remember most about him.
Well, I had many times to meet with him. He appointed me a bishop in New York, a bishop in Ohio, and I had the opportunity to stay where he lives at Casa Santa Marta. So I had opportunities to interact with him. And in so many ways, he was like an uncle, right? Like an uncle, just very warm, very kind, very humorous. It was just very beautiful, very beautiful.
Yeah, Archbishop, it's Pat Ciarrocchi.
Hi, Pat.
Hi. Wow, what a morning here we are spending together. Isn't this something?
Yes.
You know, when the Holy Father appointed you Archbishop of Philadelphia, what did you say to him the next time you had the opportunity to meet with him?
I saw him a few months later at an audience at St. Peter's, and thanked him for bringing me back home to Philadelphia. And he said, "I'm glad you're there."
And when you spoke with him, considering both of your first languages is Spanish, would you speak to him in Spanish?
Yeah, we would speak in Spanish, yes. And interestingly enough, about maybe 3 weeks before I was appointed to Philadelphia, about 3 weeks or a month, I was in Rome for an ad limina visit. And the bishops of the Midwest, where I was, we met with him, and I happened to be the last one and spent about 15 minutes talking to him alone. But he never said that I was going to Philly at that point. But he was really always so kind and attentive, and when he spoke to somebody, he looked at him straightly in the eye.
And so,
very beautiful.
Would you anticipate celebrating a mass for him?
Yes, I will be celebrating the 12:05 Mass at the Cathedral today. And the Cathedral will be open for our faithful to go and pray for the repose of Pope Francis, and thank God for this gift of this man of faith and of love and of joy for the world, for the Church. It's a great loss for us. But a great gain for heaven, that's for sure.
For sure. I'm sure
so I'll
that
be celebrating Mass at the Cathedral at 12:05 today.
Well, thank you very much,
Thank you so much.
Archbishop Nelson Perez, for joining us. We appreciate it. Thank you, Your Grace.